Hey everyone, just wanted to give you a quick heads up. The second Global Product Owner Summit is coming soon. You can get all the details at bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. That's bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. And it's all lowercase, all one word. Oh, and stick with us until the end of the episode to know the dates and the tracks that we have for you in this year's summit. But for now, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our TGIF Friday and Product Owner episode this week with Tom Baldwin. Hey, Tom, welcome back.
Hey, Vasco. Nice to see you.
Likewise. So, Tom, product owners, of course, are critical in the success of our team. So we best learn how to work with great product owners and how to help those not so great to become even better. So we'll talk about what great product owners look like in a minute. But first, start with what was potentially the worst product owner anti-pattern you've witnessed in your career.
Well, I put it broadly speaking into three groups of three types of anti-pattern. You get the sort of product owner you can never get hold of. Really, it's to do with distance. It's like the moon flying over and you might get hold of them once every 28 days if you're lucky. Then there's the other guy who's a dictator, who's too close, he's standing on your toes, won't let you make any decisions for yourself. I've seen this both male and female, shall we say, doing that. And possibly the third worst is nobody wants to be product owner. I've seen that at a place I worked where it's like seen as a poison chalice. Anybody sips from it, they'll die of poisoning. So, but they still wanted to be able to make all the decisions. They just don't want to be held accountable for those decisions. So I've seen that. That was at the little place where I helped with the organizational design by installing a product owner.
So let's take one of this and dive a little bit deeper into it. You can choose which one, but the question is, okay, so you've worked with people with this anti-pattern. Let us know what that is. What have you learned about working with product owners that exhibit this anti-pattern?
Well, as I say, if you've got nobody to blame, it's really, really, really hard. So the simplest way to solve up the no product owner is often if you find somebody who's really a subject matter expert, like a business analyst in a traditional firm would. They are great. They know a lot of what the business at least should be doing and trying to do, and they're to get them accountable. So I've had on a couple of occasions where I've got somebody from the team has become the proxy product owner as a sort of, an intermediate step towards getting towards it. And once you can start to get the backlog under control, because it usually goes one of two ways. Either you've got sort of 200 items in a backlog that's just a dumping ground, or you've got almost nothing at all. So we don't want neither of those two things. We want to getting flows. The arrival rate and the departure rate are roughly similar, and ideally really close together and getting a lot done. So it's often find somebody who's not totally resistant to the idea and explain to them what the role is and to help them out as well. I mean, I've had to step into the breach a few times and act as a product owner for various stages, when nobody wanted to do it, just to show that this is what we need to do. And once it's up and running, the amount of effort required is not that hard. It's just getting the thing bump started and getting it chugging down the road.
And there's a couple of things that you mentioned that I think are important, which is the things that need to work independently of, creating, large amounts of value and being able to hurt stakeholders and so on. But the core things are clarity in the stories or requirements. And then also to understand what's the inflow and outflow of work, right? You called it the arrival rate and departure rate. Because if it is too much arrival, not enough departure, there's going to be major problems with stakeholder communication. If it's the other way around, we're going to starve the team. It's not always a bad idea, but you may ask, is it a bad idea? And then, of course, once that is clear, the backlog is in shape, we have a good understanding of how much work is coming in and going out, and we know that those things are at the right level, or at least not completely out of whack, then we can start thinking about moving on and helping somebody else take the PO role, and even giving them giving them a hand for the first few iterations or sprints so that they get familiar with the process and they fit into the process, because that's very important, right? Because the product owner is one of the key let's call it
accountability
catalysts for good
All right,
quality Scrum.
Yes, if you don't have that, you really are trusting to luck, and that's really not where you want to be. But I have various different ways to handle different problems. I mean, one of the things, obviously, if you've got way more items in your backlog than you can process, not only can you not find what you're looking for very quickly, and you'll find often duplicates. So a little technique is what I call the attic or the loft. The idea of putting stuff up in the roofing area. Really, it's a recycle bin. We just put the stuff there, because people, it might be valuable. Okay, well, let's put it over there. And then if it's been sitting there for 6 months and nobody's taken a look at it, you can sort of think, all right, is it? You sure it's that valuable? I don't think it is. So it's a way to get the backlog down from an unimaginable number. I think, is it something like 60? Unless you're a Vegas card counter or something like this, unless you're one of those, you're not going to be able to remember all 60 or more than 60 items in the backlog. I mean, I know you're very strict about this, aren't you?
Maybe even 3 to 5 in my mind.
Yes, I know. Well, that's the thing. So you've got to be able to give people. I mean, it's a classic thing is to break stuff down too early, isn't it? Now, I don't know. You and I are probably of a similar sort of age, aren't we? Do you remember asteroids? You get these big boulders coming along, and the beginner mistake is just shooting at them and breaking them down to smaller, and then you end up with this asteroid field of lots. Keep them as big boulders strategically. Move your little spaceship out the way and break stuff down. And when you do break it down, get it done, and then move on to the next big boulder and break that down. And effectively, that's what we're trying to do. You don't want 200 items. It's
too much detail too early on, just creates confusion. And of course, expectations that are then very hard to manage. But not all POs are like this. Some are really great POs. And why not share one of those examples with us, Tom? So what was potentially the best product owner you've ever worked with? How did they work?
Well, he's a lovely guy. If I have one criticism of him, it's almost like he's too nice. So, now and it was in the same team that we had the rather strong manager, the Scrum Master, back on Monday. So he was such a lovely guy. He was very open to trying things out, experimenting and new techniques to get things managed. But I remember when he was doing a sprint review, he would be the MC, the master of ceremonies. He would be the one and the stakeholders liked him, which always helps. The developers liked him. Everybody. The only person who didn't like him, well, she got to accept. She couldn't see his value, but he really was very approachable. He would introduce the developers during a sprint review. He'd show up, say a little backlog item, the user story. This is what and then he would throw over to the developer on the team, and they would put the software through its paces and be able to show that it did achieve this and be able to take ideas. And as well, he got the backlog down to a manageable amount, and we were able to use, there's velocity that we were using. I think it was in Azure DevOps or Microsoft Teams at the time, which would be able to say, yeah, we're probably going to be hitting this round about two sprints time or something like that to get it down to a more manageable number. And the expectation was there. Everybody was buoyant. The only person who didn't like him so much was saying that he's not technically minded. And it's like, he doesn't need to be. That's not his area. I mean, it's great if he is as well, but he was more from the user perspective and what values to the users. And he really was able, he would go and meet with the developers and bring a user along. So every 2 or 3 days. So he wouldn't just wait until the final thing. So he really was part of the team. Truly.
And actually, this point about technically minded is actually a great point, because a technically minded PM might be tempted to define the technical details for the team, therefore taking ownership away from the team, which is not what we want. So it's important to understand that the product owner's responsibility is not to be an architect. Right? The product owner's responsibility is to understand what value needs to be delivered and ensure that the team also understands what value needs to be delivered.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's all waste, isn't it? That would be over processing, wouldn't it? In terms of Daiichi Ohno's 7 ways.
And creating confusion as well,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because then when a team is not or is encouraged not to make technical decisions because the quote unquote technical PO is making those, then that team will step back and say it's not our problem, right? Raise their hands and say the PO designed this, we're just doing it.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. And this is the worst that can happen, to take the ownership and investment that the team may have in the product away, which then leaves a lot of blind spots, I think we could say, because the team isn't anymore invested in making the best possible product. They're just doing whatever the PO says.
Well, this is a pretty fundamental thing about Flow, isn't it? So he wasn't, if you're getting a product owner who does the planning for the team, then it's not, as you say, it's not the developer's plan anymore. And it's, and if at the end of the sprint they haven't managed to accomplish the goals, well, it's your plan, not my plan. So what do you know?
Exactly.
So you really have new. So this is where this guy was really, really good. He would, we could do sprint planning in about 10 minutes, and then yes, they go away and tidy up a lot of the detail, and he'd be available to them. But it really didn't take very. When you get good, as I say, and things are simple, it doesn't take long. It's quick and easy. If it's not easy, you're doing it wrong.
That is definitely the mantra for this week. If it's not easy, you're doing it wrong. So people out there, do reflect what is hard, and maybe that's an indication of where you need to improve. Tom, it's been a pleasure to have you here. We're almost at the end though. So before we go, share with us, where can people find out more about you and the work that you're doing?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. That's how I managed to find out Mr. Duerthy. I've been always reading your comments and chatting away. But yeah, that's who I am. I've got my own little company, TJ Agile Systems. But if you needed half decent Scrum Master, I might know one. So
yeah, Tom may recommend a good Scrum Master, indeed. So why not, everybody, do get in touch with Tom on LinkedIn and ask a few follow-up questions, why not, based on this conversation. Tom, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for your generosity with your time and your knowledge.
My pleasure. Oh, thank you very much. And yes, as I say, hero worship, I do. Thank you. Thank you for your work, Vasco.
Yeah, you're too kind, Tom.
Thanks a lot, mate. Cheers.
Hi there, Agile friends. Thank you for sticking around and listening to the details of the Product Owner Summit, this year's global summit dedicated to a critical Scrum role, the product owner role, of course. We'll have some amazing keynotes and 4 tracks filled with first-hand stories and experiences for product owners to learn more about that critical Scrum role. The summit will take place between April 23rd and 25th, so book your calendars. There will be loads of sessions for you to attend. One of the keynotes will be Dave West, the product owner and CEO at Scrum.org, one of the largest Scrum organizations in the world. If you want to know more, check out the details at bit.ly/product owner 2024. That's all one word, all lowercase, bit.ly/product owner 2024. We will also have 4 tracks. The 4 tracks will cover cross-functional product ownership. That's track 1. As Pixar's Ratatouille said, not every idea can be a great idea, but a great idea can come from anywhere. And this quote emphasizes the importance of a product owner being open to all ideas, regardless of the source, and also challenges us to focus on getting good ideas from everywhere and involving the whole team in the product owner role and responsibilities. The second track is Designing Products for Growth, where we explore how to craft products ready for scalable growth, merging practical strategies with innovation. The idea here is to learn to design products for growth, whether it is sales or customer acquisition. The third track is Know Your Users, user-centric approaches for agile development. In this track, we learn to master user-centric techniques in agile development, to deeply understand customer needs and transform insights into meaningful UX designs that focus on engagement and satisfaction. This is a track ideal for innovation-focused agile teams. And the fourth track, one of the most exciting tracks in my opinion, is product development with AI, ideas for product owners. Not only do we discuss about using AI in the products, but also AI for product owners to learn to make a bigger impact with the help of the AI tools that we already have. The Product Owner Summit will also present to you great opportunities to network with your peers. So get your ticket and join our Slack. You can get the ticket and join the Slack at bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. As always, we have free tickets and also the paid tickets that help to support this podcast. So check them out at bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. That's all lowercase, all one word, Product Owner 2024. I'll see you in the summit floor.